Welcome to Silver Pros, sponsored by Hero Bullion. I am your host, Silver Dragons, and I'm joined by my old yet incredibly wise co-host, Yankee Stacking. What's up, Yankee?
You went there, didn't you?
He's like Yoda. He's just so wise. He's got all of this knowledge.
Okay. Hey, man, it's great to be here. We're going to talk about how to survive silver's volatility.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Volatility? Are we talking about these crazy price swings or what?
Absolutely. I don't know if people do what I do sometimes, but I sometimes like keep checking my phone and the spot price, and I keep looking at it, and it's like, oh my word, look at what it's doing today.
Yeah, no doubt. It's like you wake up, check your phone, and is it gone up or is it gone down? What happened? And it could move a dollar either way. So we're actually going to take a look at the chart over here on Hero Bullion, and we'll take a deep dive into what silver's been doing. But yeah, let me pop that up on the screen here. So the first thing I want to say about this chart, and by the way, this is the 1 month chart. About a month ago, silver was down in the $23, $22 range, and it has been just steadily going up, especially once March hit, and then we had this huge peak, which was on March 8th, and that's when gold went to basically an all-time high. In fact, let me zoom into the 1 week here. So look at that. Now, silver went up higher than this intraday. It went up to around 27, just over 27 an ounce, I believe. But then we had this huge swing down. So what's that all about, Yankee?
Sometimes it's called a fear trade. Traders are concerned about different scenarios, things going on in our world, and it can be a variety of reasons why it does it. I think geopolitical events played a big part in what was happening with Russia and Ukraine. And there was uncertainty, and gold and silver functioned pretty much like they were supposed to. A place to preserve your wealth, a place to run to for safety, and I think it fit its role beautifully. So we saw that. However, it's like you said, it's been rising steadily, right?
Yeah.
So as the buildup or the ramp up towards what we saw in Ukraine occurred, we were feeling that fear. There was a lot of fear and uncertainty and doubt. The media was going crazy, right? So I think you were seeing that buildup, but inflation was also rising. So I
Yeah.
think you were also seeing that under this spike, the impact of inflation too.
Yeah, there's definitely multiple factors. And I think sort of the main story with the price of silver over the past few months has definitely been inflation, right? We've seen the price of everything go up, and so it's not really surprising that the price of silver and gold have gone up as well. But then, yeah, all this craziness going on recently has really done some stuff with the price. And one thing I wanted to point out was this pullback here. A lot of us actually expected this to happen. Whenever you get a huge spike, it's not that uncommon to see a correction the day after. And so, it's like traders taking profits, and there's some other factors as well. But it was not surprising to me when it actually dropped down. And we're going to talk about how to survive these peaks and valleys and what we do and all that kind of stuff. But I did want to bring up this post that I made on Instagram. I posted a picture of the spot price of silver and gold, and it was a throwback photo from it was, I believe, May of 2020, and silver was like $12 an ounce, and I said, wow, what a pullback. And the comments were split right down the middle. Can you imagine what they were saying, Yankee?
Yes, either way, right?
Yeah. Some people were excited. They're like, oh my goodness, I was going to go back up the truck and buy as much silver as I could. And other people were saying, oh, you scared me. Like, I was super worried that I'd made a bad decision and, I'm losing all this money. How crazy is that?
It is. And, while we want to be opportunistic, I don't want people to panic sell or panic buy. I want it to, them to have a better understanding as to what might be driving these things and be patient. It's hard, especially if you're a new stacker and you haven't really started the journey and you don't have a lot, to do that, and you still want to look for deals no matter what. But if you can, I think it's important to realize that there's a lot of wild trading that kicks on when there's this type of uncertainty. A lot of algorithm trading, these computer-based trading that kicks in at certain price points. So you cross that magic, $2,000 line in gold or whatever it is here, $30 it could be for silver or something. You'll also see a lot of programming trading kicking in. These traders are driving the spot price up and down wildly. So you got to be careful of that. It can be caused by, like we mentioned, geopolitical events, but also like the Fed, they have an FOMC meeting coming up, I think, what is it, a week? What happens if, you remember, I think it was on our last Silver Pros, we talked about the Fed maybe seeing what's going on over there in Ukraine and using that as an excuse not to raise rates.
Right.
These are the types of wild, big news events, I should say, that can cause incredible volatility, and you got to really have some poise when that happens.
Yeah, you definitely need to stay on top of it. And I liked how you brought up we could see these big changes in spot price, but also we can see changes in premiums because the demand for silver and gold has risen significantly over the last few weeks. And one thing I wanted to bring up here is over on Hero Bullion, as low as 30.78 per coin. But the premiums have just been sneaking up on everything. And it's absolutely insane. Premiums on American Silver Eagles, we're seeing like, $13, $14, $15 premiums now. So you really got to be careful with what you're buying. Pay attention to the price of everything and obviously try and get good deals like something like this. But anyway, yeah, premiums have been kind of skyrocketing, don't you think?
Yeah, premiums are also reacting. Premiums can be very volatile as well. You need to have the right mindset when this happens. Too often, I unfortunately see individual investors driven by FOMO. It can be in stocks, it can be in silver and gold, it can be all over the place. But there's this chasing after a rising price, and it reminds me of a quote that I remember Rick Rule actually said. It was a sort of an example of how silly this is. So say for instance, you're going to the grocery store and the price of tuna has gone up, and you're looking at it and you're like, wow, that's expensive. Let's not buy as much, maybe just one can. However, if the price was, really cheap, you might stock up, right?
Yeah, let's buy a whole bunch.
Yeah. It seems like it's the opposite when it comes to investing, buying metals, buying stocks. The price is going up. Oh, we got to buy more. Buy. And I see that all too often. A lot of people think they're contrarian investors, which, I don't know if they always understand what that means.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? It's shooting up for a reason. I'm going to hold. I'm going to wait a bit. Let this settle down, and it's going to dip. And it did dip. I called it too. I was calling for a pullback after it hit these highs. So
I remember you posted and you said we're going to have a big pullback, and certainly we did. And that would have been a much better buying opportunity for people to wait until there was red across the board. When you see gold going down, silver going down, that's when you want to be buying in, maybe making a slightly larger purchase. I mean, we're going to talk about sort of a good strategy for purchasing in general, but when you're seeing everything go up, that's when you need to wait. So how should we respond, Yankee? What are some tools for a pro stacker? How do we navigate these waters?
Well, I think one of the rules of thumb that I like to use, and I know you do too, is that the dollar cost averaging approach, right? It doesn't mean that when we say hold back, it doesn't mean you don't buy anything, right?
And it certainly doesn't mean you sell.
Oh, well, yeah, that's another point. Pro stackers really never sell their silver and gold unless it's a flip, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely buy some types of silver when they first come out, when the price is low, and then sell them for a profit. But then I take that money and I put it into my stackables, right? The core of my stack, and I try and grow my stack that way. But yeah, I agree. I mean, never sell is a bold strategy.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Some people aren't wanting to stack forever. They actually have other goals in mind, etc.
Right.
But definitely don't be selling right now. I think with everything going on in the world, you do not want to be selling. Trust me, there's a reason why everyone's buying right now. But anyway, back to the dollar cost averaging.
So yeah, I think my rule of thumb is to dollar cost average unless there is a big change. And what by big change in the price of precious metals, I'm talking say 5% rise in the price of metals or drop in a short period of time. So let's take silver, right? It closed up 8% in just 10 days.
Wow.
When I saw that, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a massive volatility and the spike here. I decided I'm just gonna cool my jets a bit, be opportunistic maybe on a few things, but I'm not going to buy much at this point.
So maybe stack a little bit of cash at that point and be ready for a purchase.
The dry powder, I like to call it. And gold too. I mean, we'll mention it. Gold closed up 3% in just 2 days.
Yeah.
9% in that same 10-day period. That's the close. So that's huge.
That is significant. And one thing we have to mention is that typically silver is more volatile than gold. And so that is one thing you can expect. I honestly think silver has a lot of catching up to do. I mean, gold is basically at all-time highs, and silver is still, around half of its all-time high. So I would not be surprised if we see silver really make up some ground in the coming months and close that gold to silver ratio.
I expect it to. Absolutely. Long term, and when I should say midterm, for the rest of this year, I truly expect silver to close the gap. They're going to gold led, but silver's going to follow. So, yeah, I just think it's so hard. Volatility is a big challenge. And I just want to encourage people, we want to encourage people not to get panicky when the volatility hits.
Yep. Yeah. Don't fall into the FOMO, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, we really hope you enjoyed listening today, and we will see you next time on Silver Pros.
Stack like a pro.